listen, let's drink up. Your death look like big fun. Come on, let's get it on like that.
Hi, how's it going? Welcome back to my How are you? How's it going? How have you been? How's your mom? Tell her I said hi. Today's reading vlog is a little bit different than what I'm used to. Let's just start from the beginning, okay? I had this idea. I had this like joke almost with my friend that I was gonna do like my childhood trauma chooses my TBR, or like my internalized misogyny chooses my TBR. We had these jokes where it was just ridiculousness. My coping mechanisms choose my TBR, like etc, etc. Booktube has a lot of different ways of choosing their TBR through like games, through like strangers, friends, family, other booktubers, etc. It's a lot, right? It happens all the time. And so I thought it'd be funny to do something a bit more abstract. And I really wasn't sure if I wanted to do it because first of all, it's very personal. This is a very personal video. You're really getting to know me. It's like also very like vulnerable because I've really questioned whether or not I felt close enough to this to talk about these kinds of things. To be honest with you, I'm really not. To be honest with you, I don't go into a lot of detail about my own personal trauma in this video. I can't get on the internet and talk about the shit that's happened to me. I can't do it. But to go back, I wanted to do this because I thought it was funny and I thought it was interesting and I thought it was unique. In one of my videos, I mentioned this joke, this idea, and people in the comments were saying like, oh, this is how you could do it. Like, this is how you could do it. And I was like, you guys are literally fucking geniuses. You're a fucking genius. You're a fucking genius. Here we are. In this video, we're gonna read books that have to do with the types of trauma that I've had. And listen, it's not a lot. Technically, I only read one book. I'm gonna deal with two different topics. The first one, of course, is My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. This is an adult literary novel about a girl named Vanessa. She starts a new year at this very prestigious boarding school. She starts it without any friends. She starts it down on her luck until she starts to notice a teacher who is giving her a lot of attention, giving her a lot of praise, and getting closer and closer and closer to Vanessa. And Vanessa, being the lonely girl that she is, the lonely, isolated girl that she is, seeks it out and then begins a relationship with this teacher. This book deals with a lot of sexual abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse in some cases. I read this because as a child, I was sexually abused. Right now, I'm just gonna say I do not go into detail about this. I don't want to talk to you, no offense, about my sexual abuse trauma. So I'm not gonna go into detail about that in this video. That's why I chose this book. Then the second book that I chose, kind of randomly to be honest, was Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune. This is a fantasy novel about this guy named Wallace. Wallace is like the worst. Wallace is like awful. He's like a douche. Like nobody likes Wallace. And at the beginning of the novel, Wallace is dead. He's dead. And he's like at his own funeral and everyone is just like, man, this guy. Everyone hated Wallace. And then Wallace sort of goes to the afterlife, kind of, where he goes to this place where he can stay. It's kind of like purgatory. And he meets all of these like larger than life characters. That's what I read for this reading vlog. Let me know down below what should choose my TBR next. You know, like my feminine rage chooses my TBR. Let me know what you think. And I hope you enjoy the vlog. Jeremy, this is like a very sensitive video, so if you could please just roll it. The clip, I mean, please. Yes, Jeremy. We've talked about it and I'm so sorry, but like, I can't afford to pay you more. Considering also how much you do here, which isn't a lot. I know you think that you're like worth it. I know that you're trying, but with the amount of work ethic, the amount of trouble, like half the time these clips aren't being rolled, Jeremy. Half the time I'm trying to do it myself and I'm still paying you as if you're doing it. Like, I really can't afford to give you a raise. Maybe some other booktubers would want you to be like their clip roller, but me, I can't afford it. I'm so sorry. Okay, well, I'm glad that you're loyal to me in some way. But you know, if you want to quit, that would be fine too. Okay, you're gonna roll the clip? Okay, well, that was abrupt. You just ended the car. Okay, yeah, roll the clip.
Let's drink up, your death look like big fun. Come on, let's get it on. Like that Marvin Gaye song. I'm stunning, you love it. Come on, give me something. I know that you want it. Come on, give me something. The night is young and so are we. So maybe you should leave with me. The night is young and so are we, baby. The night is young, so let's have some fun. If you love me right, yeah, this could be the summer of our lives now, honey. Give it to me like you know you should now, baby. This could be the summer of our lives, the summer of our lives. The sunset's on fire, tell me your desires. We're not getting
Hi, welcome to this weekly reading vlog where we're going to be reading books chosen by my childhood trauma. I hope you're ready, because I am. First of all, today has been very chill, and yet I have so much to do. Like, I have so much to do. Specifically, I have to finish editing a video and upload it and make the thumbnail for it. And I think I'm probably like halfway through editing it, but I want to finish it tonight, so I'm hoping I can. I did a bit of reading, and I'm on page 48 of My Dark Vanessa. So this is a book I'm starting out with. As I'm sure you know, this book centers on an inappropriate relationship between a teacher and a student, but specifically it has main themes of like sexual abuse, that kind of thing, and like that kind of trauma, what those kind of experiences can do to a person, which is the main reason why I'm reading it. As a child, I was sexually abused, like a lot of children and like a lot of girls especially. I will say I have read this before. This is technically a reread, but it's been, I think, like 3 or 4 years. Like, it's been a while. It's 48 pages in, and I have a lot to say. We meet Vanessa, and she's probably like in her 30s, I think. It's clear that she thinks she's different than other victims. So much, in fact, that she doesn't think she's a victim, and that she doesn't think that she's a survivor of this. She thinks that her relationship with Mr. Strain, her teacher, was completely consensual in every single way. Vanessa's delusional because she doesn't recognize that she was groomed and abused. There's a part like close to the beginning where Vanessa like literally calls Strain and is like, hey, this won't take long. And they start sort of going through this like thing of like him bringing up memories and like almost like reminiscing, being like, remember this? It was so much fun. But it's not, because it was their memories of the abuse. Their memories of this 45-year-old man, no, 42-year-old man sexually touching a 15-year-old girl. Those are the memories. And she's getting her rocks off, okay, while he's doing all this, while he's like reminiscing. I annotated that she's eroticizing and fetishizing her trauma. She's taking the abuse and she's making it something it's not. Something like romantic, something sexy, something cute. It's really not. Vanessa, it's not. I swear to you, girl, it's not cute. I just think it's so interesting though that she is drawing back on these things. Some things that she can't even necessarily like remember. Like I said, eroticizing it, fetishizing it, sexualizing it to the point where it's something that isn't traumatic to her, but something that's like sexually gratifying. So far, I have 3 annotations. I have quote, character, and what the fuck, which is Strain is a shit f. And I have used the Strain is a shit f for a lot of my annotations so far, because this guy's the worst. Because if you pay attention closely to what he's doing, because by the way, our main character Vanessa has just met Strain. She goes to that school, but she's never had his class before, and so she's just met him, and almost immediately he kind of like singles her out a little bit. And I think it's interesting as well, because at one point she says, yeah, I don't have a lot of friends. And he says, yeah, me neither. I don't either. He's happy about that because he wants his victim to be isolated. He wants it so that there are less chances for this little girl to go to other people with any information that he gives her or any information that is pushed onto her by him being a fucking creep. One of the first times that our main character meets him, it's like her first day of class with him, and he's going around the room, whatever, everyone's like introducing themselves, and this girl Jenny, who used to be our main character's best friend, who's now just like a douchebag, to be honest, but whatever, she says like, my name is Jenny, and he asks her at what age she first fell in love. You're 15 years old. You're 15 years old and you're in class. It's the first day of school. Everyone's, you know, being like, well, what's your, oh, I'm Amy, and oh, hi Amy, what's your favorite animal? Oh, hi Ben, how'd you do in math last semester? Jenny, when did you fall in love? You're 15 years old. Your male teacher, 40-year-old man, asks you when you first fell in love in front of that's so embarrassing and so inappropriate. It's crazy. The audacity. We see slowly Mr. Strain making all of these like pinpoint moves, all of these slow decisions of, oh, I'm going to grab her hand, I'm going to, you know, compare her flower to a leaf. Like this scene, I make a mistake and he reaches down and guides the mouse for me. His hand so big it covers mine completely. His touch makes my body go hot. When I make another mistake, he does it again, this time squeezing my hand a little, as if to reassure me that I'll get the hang of it. But he doesn't do the same to Jesse. Jesse's like this kid. He's like another boy in this club. Not even when he accidentally X's out without saving, and Mr. Strain has to explain the steps all over again. So Mr. Strain is more than happy to make physical contact with her, but when it comes to like the other students, or even just like Jesse, who's also there, no. A part that really broke my heart, to be honest, was a part with her mother where she brings up like, hey, like, do you think my hair like looks like maple leaves or whatever? And her mom's like, what the f are you talking about? Who told you that? Where'd you get that idea? And she's like, nobody. And she's like, no, who told you that? And so she's like, oh, just like a teacher. And her mom is instantly, the f, what teacher? Was it a man? And she's like, I don't know, maybe, you know? She finds out eventually that it was a man, and she does nothing about it. They end the conversation, basically. She's upset about it. She's like, that's not normal, that's not okay. But she doesn't do anything. She doesn't call the school, nothing. It's at that moment that her mom begins to fail her as a parent. I think it's also interesting how Kate Alice Marshall has written this, because it reads like a romance novel, but it is anything but. We see like her just, you know, being like, oh my God, somebody thinks I'm pretty and blah, blah, blah. And like it's all very poetic. It's all very beautiful until you realize, until you see this is a 40-year-old man trying to groom and seduce a 15-year-old girl. Like that's the part that I just left off on, and the part that really had me up is this scene where they're in his classroom, right? Mr. Strain is like, everybody go around in a circle and like read out your thesis statement and I'll give you feedback on it. Everyone goes around and everyone's saying their thesis statement, and for every single person he's saying like, it's okay but it needs work, or it's not great, you need to start all over again, and giving everyone feedback. So we get to Vanessa, okay? Vanessa, she says hers and he's like, you're perfect. And then he instructs everyone to start working or start revising their thesis statements for their papers. But because Vanessa got a perfect, she's like, the fuck am I supposed to do? And then Mr. Strain is like, come up to the front of the class. So she's like, okay, cool, I'll go. So she goes up to the front of the class and he's like, I wanna like, you know, workshop this poem with you or whatever. So she sits down in a chair next to him and he pulls her closer. Like he literally like pulls her chair closer to him and is like, we need to be closer so we can talk quietly because everyone's working. He says quietly, and I'm quoting here, Nessa, I have to ask, Did you mean to sound so sexy here? This line that is literally violet-bellied and mild, she stirs in her sleep, kicking back blankets with chipped, polished toes, yawning wide to let him peer inside of her. If that is not the most infantile thing I've ever read, next to like, did you mean to sound sexy? I literally wrote, you gross mother. And then he proceeds to, underneath his desk, rub her knee. I shouldn't have paused. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have paused. But he begins to like rub her knee, touch her. Like, and like, listen, touching someone's thigh, not crazy. It's not like super sexual, but it's still inappropriate. It's wildly inappropriate. The way that it's described also, Vanessa seems to be like stuck. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know that thing where you sense danger, you feel like you're in danger, but you freeze, you can't move? That's what it reads like. Anyway, I have to go because my camera is literally about to die. And I'm gonna edit my video, so I'll see you tomorrow. I'll let you know. I'm gonna keep reading this. Of course I love it. It's like one of my favorite books of all time. Okay, bye.
Keep thinking that I could have done something, but now I'm left with an empty heart. No making amends, no waking up beside you and holding you till we forget it all. Oh, baby, how could I know there was no second chances? Like dominoes, my life got really scattered. You couldn't keep the door shut, and now the frostbite's creeping in. 'Cause I've been stone cold since you left me here, so come home. Why won't you reappear? Things that I said came out totally wrong. Can't speak of the truth when it's tainted. I fell into a big black hole. It got me stone cold. Wizard of Oz can't undo what I've done. Completely out of luck this time. I'm stuck in reverse. I gotta get away now, but I can't seem to take the lead. Oh baby, how could I know there was no second chances? Like dominoes, my life got really scattered. Still, I find myself hoping that you'll find your way back to me. 'Cause I've been stone cold since you left me here, so come home. Why won't you reappear? Things that I said came out totally wrong.
Hi, happy Wednesday. How's it going? How are you? 112 pages into my Dark Vanessa. We've made it to the sleepover scene. Reading this book feels like you're a teenager having a 14-hour panic attack. It never ends, and it's like barrage. On my second read, I'm really picking up on the way that Strain is grooming our main character, Vanessa. Like, there are so many things that he does to manipulate her. If you take away the romanticism of her narrative, of her, you know, seeing him as this like mountain of a man who's, you know, like hunching over her and protective and sweet and gentle and kind, I feel like this is an older man leering at young pubescent girls. Without all of the romanticism, with that stripped away, it's really gross. Obviously it's gross, but the way that it's written, you really get the sense of Vanessa's loneliness. She has no friends. Her only friend has abandoned her, so she has no friends. She's isolated in this school, and Mr. Strain, Jacob, I hate that name, by the way, at least in terms of like straight dudes. I feel like straight dudes named Jacob, nothing but good. I'm so sorry if your name is Jacob and you're straight. Of course, he's going to focus in on and target the isolated loner bookish girl, and especially with her because she's so desperate for company, so desperate for intimacy, so desperate for just like a feeling of belonging and love, that of course he's going to manipulate her and be like, no, you're so cool, you know what I mean? Also, I'm sorry, this quote from page 63, basically he's been avoiding her and she sees him at the dance and she sees him like slip out the back and she finds him like smoking a cigarette like near this tree, and they're talking and he says, you know what I'd like to do now? His words flow together more than usual and he sways as he points the cigarette at me. I'd like to find you a big bed, tuck you in and kiss you goodnight. I annotated it, fucking gross. Like the more I read, the more I want so badly to just like shake Vanessa, like, girl, run while you still can. And then the sleepover, there's so many things I could say, but I don't want to say too much because I really don't want to like spoil you. There's like this lull into the horror. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a lull into the viciousness, into the truth. Like it's sort of like this sweet sort of melody. Then it slowly drifts into silence until the attack. He's always telling her like, it's no pressure, like you don't have to do anything, blah, 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 blah. When she gets at his house, she's like, oh, like what if we watched a movie? And he was like, no, I'm definitely gonna fall asleep if I watch a movie. We should just go to bed. We should just get into the bed. But like, I don't know why I'm surprised. Of course he's going to coerce her. Like, reading the scene is indescribably horrible. Although what I'm noticing though is that Vanessa's a bright girl. Vanessa's a smart girl. Strain is trying to make it seem as though like there's this like very like even power dynamic between the two of them, but even Vanessa is like, absolutely not. Like you definitely hold all the power in this relationship. Like you've made all of these moves first. I've literally just been following. Like it's been you who's been courting me or whatever. Courting sounds gross in this context, but I don't know, and I don't think she understands her own victimhood, which is explored a lot more in the present day. You get this sense that even though Strain is described as much more grotesque, like he's got like loose skin, like he's hanging jowls, his beard is gone, he's like gray, he's visibly older, like an old man. Like he has to be probably what, like 70 or something, or no, maybe 60 years old. Vanessa says that looking at him, it revolts her, and yet she still like tries to connect with him, be like, oh, like we should go to dinner to celebrate this, or we should do this or whatever. And Strain being Strain is like, no, it's not a good idea, blah, blah, blah. Does my hair look crazy? I feel like it does. And so even as an adult, she still craves that attention. There's a part of her, a large part of her, I think, that's like trauma bonded to the idea of this man. Her rape apologist ass makes me so mad. Like other people coming forward being like, this happened to me, and then her saying that they're liars, even though she knows for a fact that it's true because it happened to her. But I think for her, admitting that those horrible things happened to those girls, that, and admitting that they're victims, means that she also then has to admit that she's a victim and that what happened to her wasn't okay. Because I think a lot of what she has is guilt and shame about everything, because there's a part of her that thinks that she enjoyed it, when in actuality, what I think is like, she enjoyed the attention. She enjoyed feeling as though somebody actually gave a single flying fuck about her. Of course, she's a teenage girl. Like teenage girls want to be like fanciful and shit. When I was a teenager, I was like, all I wanted was like a romance novel without the sex. Like I wanted somebody to hold my hand and kiss my forehead and, you know, pat me on the head or whatever. And Vanessa wants the same thing. It's not an easy read. Like it's not fun. So if you have trauma around sexual abuse, rape, you know, child abuse kind of things, avoid it, because it might trigger you. But I'm gonna read it. I made avocado toast with like scrambled eggs and tomato and feta. stunning. So good. So good. I think for the rest of the evening, I'm probably just gonna, you know, sit around and keep reading my Dark Vanessa because I kind of want to finish it today so I can start something else tomorrow. I don't know what I want to start tomorrow, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go because I'm gonna keep reading. Bye.
Only one, only one, only one. Patience. I'm running out of patience. There's gotta be somebody who can save me. Gotta be someone who feels the same. Cause I've been all by myself, got nobody else to help ease my mind. I feel so lonely, so goddamn lonely. Can't be the only one. No, I can't be the only one, only one, only one. Only one, only one, only one. I can't be the only one, only one, only one. 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 I can't be the only one, only one, only one. Only one, only one, only one. Lonely, tired of always feeling so lonely, with nobody around to come and hold me. Gotta be someone who feels the same. Cause I've been all by myself, got nobody else to help ease my mind.
Hi, happy Thursday. I'm currently doing reading sprints with my patrons, but if you want to join my Patreon, you can. And I'm about to start my next read. So I finished my Dark Vanessa last night. I literally read it in 2 sittings. Honestly, I think reading it the second time was even harder than reading it the first time. The second time around, there's just so much pain, so much suffering, and I feel like the whole book is first of all about women's rights and the rights of girls, but then also a commentary on how we treat girls and their stories. But I feel like it's mostly about healing. The thing that really sticks out to me about Vanessa is her guilt. She has so much guilt for certain things, and then other things she deflects completely. She's like, well, what am I supposed to do? What was I supposed to do? I was just a kid, or he did the same thing to me. How could I have helped? And she blames herself for a lot of things. There's this scene where I literally bawled. You spend this entire book waiting for Vanessa to come to this realization. At least I did. I was reading all of this just being okay, Vanessa, and when are you gonna realize what we literally all realize? When are you gonna come to your senses? She says, and I quote, page 319, I just feel I can't lose the things I've held on to for so long, you know? I just really need it to be a love story, you know? I really, really need it to be that. I know, that's her therapist, she's in therapy. Because if it isn't a love story, then what is it? I look into her glassy eyes, her face of wide open empathy. It's my life, I say. This has been my whole life. And literally, even just saying it out loud, it makes me want to cry again because it's so fucking sad and so true for so many victims. These things define you on a molecular, on a atom-based level. That particular scene broke me, and I think it was probably the moment in the book where I felt the most relief, you know, where I was okay, Vanessa isn't lost. Vanessa isn't going to be deluding herself, you know? I love it, dude. 5 stars. I'm telling you, if you have not read my Dark Vanessa yet, first of all, what are you doing? Second of all, it's just stunning. The writing is beautiful. The characters are so real, especially Vanessa. I feel I could reach out and grab her. I could reach out and call her even. Like, she's so human. She's so human that it's weird almost. And Strain, as much as a fuck shit he is, and as much as I fucking hate him, his character is also complex, nuanced. There's so much. I can't even talk about all of it. I'm telling you though, if you want something to trigger you, no, but if you want something dark that deals with these kinds of issues, this is it. This is so good. Like, look up trigger warnings. Like, do your homework, please. I didn't know what to read next, to be honest. And honestly, I thought I had this document that I made a few months ago with like a list of books for specifically this video. I thought I could find it. I literally can't find it. So I was like, fuck, I have to start from scratch. So I started doing research and stuff, and fucking, I just like annoyed myself, really, is what happened. I was just annoyed. But I found two contenders. I think I know which one I'm gonna read, and I think that's Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. I'm pretty sure that this deals heavily with grief. The reason I'm choosing it is because when I was 13 years old, my grandmother died. My grandmother, her name was Louise, was like my best fucking friend. Like, I was her favorite grandchild, and she didn't even like try to make it a secret. Everyone fucking knew that like Jordaline is Louise's favorite. She literally called me her pride and joy. Like, do you blame her? I was her favorite. When I was 12, she was diagnosed with cancer. I honestly don't even know where. Again, I was so young. And then at 13, she passed away in August, actually. And that was like a very defining moment for me in my life. And like a thing of like trauma, because like I said, she was like my best fucking friend. She was basically my only, what's the word? Safety net, I guess. Hers was the only place I felt safe. If I was there, there was nothing that could hurt me. Do you know what I mean? And so when she died, that was very, it was very traumatic. I'm being honest. It was traumatic. By the way, I know I didn't talk about the sexual abuse thing, mostly because that's extremely private for me. And so I'm fine with sharing that I have been abused sexually, but I don't want to go into details about it. My grandmother, though, I'm happy to talk about because she was literally the best woman, and I love her so much. But yeah, so she passed away when I was 13. That was very hard and very traumatic. And so I looked up fiction books about grief, and this came up, and I thought, I own this, and so I'm gonna give this a read. Yeah, and I'm gonna let my grief trauma, my death trauma, choose this for my TBR. Ooh, okay, I'm being gross. Why am I like this? I was also thinking I might read Lonely Castle in the Mirror. This does not have an audiobook, so I'd have to read it physically, which I don't know if I'm like in the space to do right now. But this is dealing a lot with like bullying, and I also have a lot of trauma in regards to like being bullied and being like harassed and stuff. So I thought that could be fun. I mean, not fun. I thought that it could fit, but I think I'm gonna go with this one because I feel like it's also more accessible just in terms of it having an audiobook. I have about 30 minutes left in my reading sprint, so I'm gonna read for 30 minutes and I'll let you know what I think, okay?
Keep it cool with you, I feel like breaking rules. On the edge, looking out with no parachute. You know I'm dreaming about us two, playing around without a clue. On the edge, leaning out. With us it's all or nothing. Ooh, but guess I need more of you. With us it's all or nothing, but guess I need more of you. You say it during night, but in the morning you just leave. With us it's all or nothing. Ooh, but guess I need more of you. With us it's all or nothing, but guess I need more of you. You say it during night, but in the morning you just leave. Had to convince my friends this time. Think you're toxic to my mind, but I know they don't know what you're all about. The way you hold my body.
Hi, it's still Wednesday. I just wanted to update you on Under the Whispering Door, which I am 95 pages into. To be honest with you, Tiffany, I'm not loving it. I do like it, but I only like it because of the people who aren't Wallace. Wallace is the main character, and I hate him. Also, can I just say, it feels like the Cerulean Sea. It sounds like the Cerulean Sea. It has a vibe. Even the plot is somewhat similar of like, oh, character is deeply flawed and oh, magic people will save them. Also, I have a theory, and my theory is that Wallace killed himself. I don't think he died of a heart attack. I think he ended his own life. I'm trying to ask myself if I should DNF it for now. Maybe go back to it eventually, or I could just power through, because I only have about 5 hours left of the audiobook. So I could read a little bit more today and then finish it tomorrow in time for this vlog to end. I think I'm gonna power through. But you're like, okay, Jordaline, but how are you? How's your life? Thanks so much for asking. It's okay. Tomorrow I'm gonna go see The Little Mermaid with my friend in the VIP theater, and I'm so excited. First of all, for popcorn, because if you know me, you know that I'm obsessed with popcorn, like obsessed with popcorn, especially movie theater popcorn. It's like one of my favorite foods. I think we're gonna go see like a matinee at like 12. That's all I have really planned. I made that like mushroom pasta, and I would say I'd give it a 6 out of 10. It wasn't my favorite. It wasn't bad, but it was my favorite. I don't think I let the wine cook enough, because I don't know, it just had this like very distinguished taste. I think I should have added sugar to the sauce, to be honest, because it was a little bit bitter, but it was pretty good. It was all right. I think for the rest of the evening, I'm just going to, first of all, turn my fan back on and have it directly at my face, because I'm literally dying. And then I think I'm also maybe just gonna like chill out, read a little bit more, maybe watch something on the television. I should also though edit last week's vlog. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I also feel like I want to be like creative though, but I just don't know how. That's the thing. I don't know about you, but like I get kind of stuck in ruts in terms of like deciding things. Like I get decision fatigue, where I'm like, oh, I should do something like creative, or I should like write or draw or like craft in some way, but then I can't decide, and so then I just like end up like watching TikTok or something. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow. I'm so excited for the popcorn. That's the thing I'm most excited for. I don't know about The Little Mermaid. Disney's live actions have not been it, but I've heard some good things. Cool. I'll see you tomorrow.
Where do we go from here? No one can save us from keeping clear. I don't wanna lose you, I don't wanna lose you now.
Hi. So this is an interesting angle, isn't it? I had the idea to film like this because I thought it would be like cool and artsy and stuff. I don't know, I kind of love it. It's kind of cute, isn't it? I'm kind of like art on the wall. How are you? Happy Friday. Okay, let's get the bad news out of the way. First of all, okay, Tiffany, first things first, I have not read any more of Under the Whispering Door. I don't think I'm gonna finish it, if I'm being honest with you, Tiffany. I don't want to. I don't want to, and I don't think I'm going to. I literally didn't even read any more of it yesterday, like after I finished talking to you. I'm gonna DNF this, and I think this is also gonna be like the last clip of the vlog, just because, I don't know, I'm just feeling tired, and I honestly think that maybe my Dark Vanessa kind of had me like a little bit fucked up, to be honest. Like, I feel like my Dark Vanessa was so serious and so like weighty, like it was so heavy that like I don't think I need TJ Klune. Do you know what I mean? Like TJ Klune wasn't the right place to go. Is this a weird shot? It could be weird. I don't know what I'm gonna read next for tonight, because it's like 6 p.m. right now. I think I'm just gonna like chill out. I might also tidy up a little bit, because I think we have movie night tonight. If you're my patron, you might know the drama going on with movie night. Whatever happened last week, I don't know if we're gonna keep doing that. Not even just for like the other parties involved, but just like also for me. I'm like do I want to continue on with this buffoonery? I went to the movie theater today and I went to go see The Little Mermaid with my roommate, or my ex-roommate. This is now turning into Jordaline does movie reviews. Nobody's like, please Jordaline, give us your opinions about all these movies. Like, no one's asking for it, but I'm gonna give it to you anyway. So The Little Mermaid 2023. First of all, the best part about the movie was Halle Bailey. She is the entire package. She's the whole package. Like, she's stunning. She's a great actor, and her voice, dude. Her rendition of Part of Your World was so stunning. I loved Halle Bailey in that film. Also, what I'll say is, like, Melissa McCarthy did a pretty good job as Ursula as well. But there were also so many things in the movie that they added that were, like, not necessary. Like, they gave backstory to Eric, and, like, they even gave him his own song. And I'm like, okay, that's okay. But also, why? Who is asking? Who? Tell me, who is asking for a Eric solo? Who wanted a song from Eric? Nobody was like, oh, I just wish Eric had more screen time. No one's thinking that. Honestly, it was kind of giving like High School Musical. Like, I think it's the second movie where, like, Zac Efron, aka Troy, is in that golf course and, like, he's, like, dancing and stuff. Like, it was giving that, and it was, like, almost embarrassing. Worst part of the movie was his song. Like, it wasn't good. And then there was also this other thing where, like, because Ariel can't speak when she goes on land, they do this thing where, like, Halle Bailey or Ariel is, like, singing inside of her own head. The gall, the audacity for them to cut out Les Poissons, maybe top 3 best songs in the whole movie, like, Les Poissons, Les Poissons, ha ha ha. Hey, hey, hey. That's not how the song goes. It was honestly rude that they cut it out. I really didn't like that. Javier, who plays King Triton, like, he's such a good actor, and yet in this movie, for me, he was giving nothing. There was nothing going on with him in this movie. From the first scene, I was like, oh, okay, maybe he just, like, couldn't find the motivation for this or whatever. No, the whole movie, I felt like he was just, like, stiff as a board, light as a feather. I thought it was better than a lot of their other remakes, but that doesn't mean that it's good. And honestly, also, I asked my friend, like, do I want to go see The Little Mermaid? Because I was like, oh, it's the only movie playing right now. Fucking Spider-Man, the second Spider-Verse movie is out. And I was like, let's go see The Little Mermaid. What the fuck was I thinking? Literally, we were walking into the theater after paying for a ticket, and my roommate was like, oh my God, I didn't know that Spider-Man was out. I was like, oh fuck. We should have went to see Spider-Man, but we didn't because I literally forgot. But also, okay, I was talking to my patrons about this yesterday. Next week, I'm gonna go see The Blackening with my friend, which is another movie. It's like a horror movie. It's like a horror comedy about a group of people who go to a cabin. They realize that there's, like, a psycho killer thing or whatever, and they have to, like, figure it out. And it looks so funny, so creepy, and I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it. This reading vlog didn't go how I thought it was gonna go, if I'm being honest. Should I get in front of the camera? Is this whole thing weird? This could be weird. I feel like also if I get in front of the camera, the lighting is horrible. It's not good. Let me turn on the light. This reading vlog has not gone as I thought it would go. Hopefully it's still entertaining, even though I didn't read that much. Thank you so much anyway for watching. If you watched all the way through to this part, I really appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful day. Tiffany and Brittany and Sarah and Lindsay and what are other, like, mid-2000s names? Whitney, oh my God. There was a girl in my class in elementary school named Whitney. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. Don't forget to hit subscribe, because we talk about Vanessa, we talk about The Little Mermaid, we talk about Les Poissons and shit. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Au revoir. Bye. Goodbye.